welcome back to my channel. Another episode of Living Life After Life. I know it's been a little while since I talked to y'all last. I think it's been like almost 2 weeks. And I apologize for that, but I just been a little busy. But while I was on my little hiatus, I was thinking about a name that I could give y'all. You know how everybody has like a special name for their followers, their subscribers. And I came up with the name Lifers. I know in prison, a lifer is a person who receives 25 years or more, and it has like that little negative connotation attached to it. But I wanted to change into something that's positive because I named my channel Living Life After Life because, it's me and Timothy's goal to live to our best ability, live our best lives. So that's why I decided that I would give y'all the name Lifers. I thought it was cute. Let me know in the comments if y'all like it or not. All right. Um, the last time I talked to y'all, like I'm all in my pajamas. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I didn't want another week to go by without giving y'all a video. So that's why I'm up this time of night and all in my pajamas and stuff. But the last time I spoke to y'all, I was talking about how I decided that I was going to tell Timothy about the relationship that I had with the other guy. But I'm not going to talk y'all heads off. I'm going to use my book to keep me on track. Just keep me on track with my thoughts so I can keep everything, in sequence. I had to get me some new glasses, but I still want y'all to see my eyes. They're cute or whatever. All right. All right, so when I decided to tell Timothy, it was like, I kept hesitating and I'm procrastinating and I'm trying to think of the best way to tell him. Trying to ease into it. So he was like, I already know. And because I had completely changed towards him, I won't even lie. I had become short with him. He would call sometimes. I wouldn't answer the phone. And I had never done that in the 5 years. Or if I was talking to him, I would be rushing him off because a lot of time Tammy would be there next to me or whatever. And it was like, I didn't want Timothy to know what was going on. So I had completely changed towards him. So when I decided to tell him, it was like he already knew based on, my actions cued him into knowing what was going on. He knew something was different. But I'll just start here. When I told him about my relationship with Tammy, he cried so badly that his words disappeared and became a high-pitched squeal of incredible pain. He went through every emotion possible and even packaged all of my pictures and letters to send back to me, along with the wedding band I had given him years before. I think this was like the next day, but he might have started that night because, he was just done with me. So he thought long and hard about the situation for a few days, then concluded that he had no choice but to support me since he wasn't in a predicament to help me in that way. Now, Timmy is a special kind of guy. I guess with him, it really is like an unconditional love because, the average person would have left, even if they didn't mean it or want it to be that way. They would have left just because their pride got in the way, But with him, once again, just like my ex when I was with Timothy, he came up with a reason to justify and rationalize just to make, this situation okay. Like I said, he did. He just did that when it came to me. I could do no wrong. So, like I said, he concluded that, he didn't have no choice but to support me. I could tell it was killing him to say those words because he was so proud of the fact that I had been completely faithful to him for 5 years while other men suffered terribly from the actions of their wives and girlfriends. How can I say I love you if you have an opportunity to be in a better position and I stand in the way of that? He said with a cracking voice, "You are my life and this really hurts, but I must stay true to the commitment I made to you and our family. I'm a loyal motherfucker, so for me, there is no walking away. We'll get through this, baby, I promise. Hearing him cry broke me down, and I called Tammy to end the relationship, but somehow I ended up leaving my house at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to him. All right, so after I got off the phone with Timothy, I was really, really upset. I just needed some consolation. So Tammy was the one that was there. So I'm riding to him, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm on my way to this man. Is this the one that I've chosen? Have I chosen him over Timothy? And it was like, when I got there, I decided, okay, I've told Timothy, I might as well tell him too, might as well let both of them know, because I had never even shared with Timmy that Timothy existed. He never knew or even thought that I was in another relationship. So, I sat down with him and I was talking, and he wasn't as emotional as Timmy was. I'll go back to the book. He wasn't as emotional as Timothy was, but I could tell that his body was shivering while I was talking to him. I don't know why he was shivering, but I guess it just was a shock to his system or whatever. After I explained everything, he took a deep breath. It was like, princess, you must do what makes you happy. Now, he called me princess, and Timothy called me precious queen. Like, they just had me on this pedestal of royalty, and sometimes I just felt like I didn't deserve. But he said, yes, I'd be happy if you choose me, and I do my very best to provide you with the life you deserve, but I will still give you my best wishes if you choose him. It would really hurt, but the reality is that I will survive just like he will if you choose me. When you think about it, no one will truly be happy either way, princess, because all three of us will constantly be wondering. So I guess what he was saying, that if I chose him, Timothy would always be wondering if I want. Let me get this straight. What he was saying, that if I chose him, he would always be wondering if I really wanted to be with Timothy. And if I chose Timothy, in the back of Timothy's mind, he would always be wondering, yeah, did she really want to be with this other guy? So that's what he was saying pretty much. Let me continue. He said, I can't speak for Timothy, but I'm no stranger to pain. I've lost my mom, my late wife, and probably the kids I left behind. You fought so hard not to fall in love with me. I know you did, but you are the only thing that has brought joy into my life lately. I love you deeply, but I can also imagine how he feels. I've only loved you for a few months, and my love for you runs deeply, so I can only imagine the love he has for you after so many years. His concern for Timothy still didn't prevent him from giving me an ultimatum to choose who I wanted to be with then and there. It sounded good, but the truth is that I could have chosen either one, because I felt either both of them needed me. All right, so I did, eventually break it off with Timmy, because I wanted to prove to myself and to Timothy that he was the man that I wanted to be with. It took him and I a while. It took maybe like 2 weeks to work through our issues. It was just this back and forth of, becoming angry with me, loving me the next minute, becoming angry with me, loving me, and how can you do this to me? And so, I deserved it, and I felt like it was only my duty to work through those issues with him. So I concentrated mainly on him, and although I knew Tammy was still in the background, we still spoke here and there, but I tried to break it off. I really did my best to try to break it off with him. It was hard, I won't lie, because I felt like, I was torn between the two. Tammy had asked me to marry him at this point. So I felt like that's why I felt that I needed to let both of them know what was going on. So I always felt that I feel like you should at least give the person an opportunity to make their own choices, instead of, making that decision for them what they should do. You tell them what it is, what's really going on, and allow them that opportunity to say, okay, this is not what I want for my life. I thought that was only fair. So, like I said, it had been like 29 to 30 days since I had talked to Tammy. So, all the while, Timothy and I are working through our issues. So I called Tammy one day. Now, this is the kicker. I called Tammy one day because I had left some things at his house that I wanted to get. So I called on the video. And I'm talking to him, and he acting real strange. So I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? I know it's been a while since we talked, but I mean, things ain't that different that you acting like that. So I hear this chick yelling in the background, who is that? Who is that? So I'm yelling, who is that? Who is that? He in the middle of these two cackling hens talking about who is that? Who is that? So you know how us black women are. She wasn't African. She was, a full blown American black chick. So she gotta, make a scene. So she comes up in the camera and she's like, I'm his wife. Yeah, his wife. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, his wife? How can you be his wife? Timmy and I just broke up not even a whole month ago. What do you mean you his wife? So, long story short, he had told her, gave her this story that I was some 22-year-old girl who was stalking him, and he didn't know how to get rid of me and all this kind of craziness. But after that, it was like, it wasn't even about Tammy anymore. It was just about me and her, because she decided that she wanted to start stalking me all on my Facebook page, calling my phone, playing on my phone, doing all, just being extra with her stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, this is how she want to play the game. I'm all for that. I had time on my hands anyway. So I was like, okay. So, little things like he had gave me like this little diamond necklace for Christmas that year. And so, after he gave it to me, I had posted on my page since I knew she was on there watching my every move. I wore it, I put it on. I'm like, thank you, T. I love my necklace and all this kind of stuff. So she knew it was about, it was him. But, it was just this back and forth with her, and it was just really, really crazy. I just hated the fact that I was in this situation. Tammy and it was like after I found out about her, it sort of created a distance between me and him, but he was trying to prove to me in every way possible that I was really the woman that he loved. And the way he explained it to me was that, his oldest son had came to him while I was gone and had a discussion with him saying that he wanted to be with him. And, Tommy had a soft place in his heart for his kids. So when his son started crying and everything, it was like, okay, I'm going to do everything in my power to get you over here. So he was discussing it with a friend of his, and his friend came up with the idea. He was like, I know the perfect girl, who wouldn't mind marrying you, and y'all have this type of arrangement. I guess she was just looking for someone that would pay her bills and everything. And by him being a great provider, that was right down her alley. So, he needed what he needed from her, and she needed what she needed from him. So that's how they did it. They went to the courthouse and got married. So, it was like, was it the day? I think it was like the next day. They had gotten to this big argument, and he had called me, and I went to the hotel that he was staying at and stayed there with him. And So he was in there, telling me, "Oh, you're the person I love." He in there crying and everything, and threw the wedding band clear across the room, and all this kind of stuff. Like, it became his mission to prove to me that I was the woman for him, and it became my mission to prove to Timothy that he was the man for me. And then he had this chick over here who's fighting for his love, because she telling him, "I know you'll never love me the way you love her or whatever, but could you at least just extend yourself just 1/3?" She was just desperate and willing, to accept a little teeny bit of him. But yeah, she was trying to prove to him she was the woman for him, and he trying to prove to me, and I'm trying to prove to Timothy. It was just crazy. But yeah, that's the situation I found myself in, torn, at one point between two different guys. So at some point I just let it go. I just got tired of going back and forth with her. Um, and so I just was like, just go ahead. I moved out of state, and but I won't lie. At one point in the relationship, I was like, I considered a polyamorous situation, because although I was trying to break it off with Tommy, it was just so hard. I just wanted to share that story with y'all so you can see how these type of relationships can be at times. It can get real wild, but that's the reality of it all. And Timothy and I worked through our issues concerning Tommy and his wife. He was able to make peace with it and with the relationship. And I think it was because, in his heart, he felt it was karma coming back to him for what had happened when we were at the jail. When him and I met and fell in love, I was actually married to someone else. So that's how he was able to, accept it and move on from it so easily. He had vowed back then that he would never bring it up, and it's been 3 years and he hasn't done so. So I appreciate that. And for me, it was a learning lesson. I learned just how much Timothy, has an unconditional love for me. I learned how much I love him as well. And I learned how I had taken him and our relationship for granted. And I also made a vow that I would never do that again. And it's been 3 years and I've kept my word as well. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment if you like, and subscribe to my channel for future videos. And until we talk again, do your best to try to live your best life, okay? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.